So during my periods of networking, I sometimes meet people and then I feel like I have to support them. And then when I support them, they support me and then they drag me into things. So Daniela, another EA who I have interviewed a few times on this podcast, told me that she was taking public speaking classes. And so she was learning how to do presentations and things like that. Her final presentation, she needed somebody to go with her, and so I did. And when I did, I realized that I was supposed to be presenting something. Anyway, long story short, it was awesome. I managed to present. I loved it. I think I shared it in one of my social medias. And during this event, I met Maria. See, you go to an event, you meet somebody else. So I met Maria. Maria works and worked at the WHO. We got into talking and we ended up speaking really a lot. And one of the things we talked about was just ageism in the assistance field. So that reaches a place where apparently our expiry date is 40s. Nobody told me this. I'm in my mid 40s, so maybe I should start getting worried. But they claim that after 40, it's a bit hard to get a job as an assistant. However, I have met quite a few executives who want somebody older because they want somebody with a bit more experience. So I don't think it is that cross-cutting, but I know that 50 is a hard age to start getting a job wherever, in whichever industry, except for top executives. So is this something, what do we have to offer after 40? Is this something we're going to talk about? So we had a really nice chat with Maria. And so here, join us and listen to what we had to complain about and talk about as assistants in our mid to late 40s, navigating this industry. What do we have to offer? We got a lot. This is where assistants talk about life as assistants and enjoy assistants. Okay, so
I can teach. Hey,
these
that
are
can
our
give me one.
viewers, and we have quite a lot of viewers.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome to the through a networking event. It was a networking event, right?
At Helen.
Elevate, yes.
Elevate. And we're elevating today.
We are elevating.
Elevating topics.
Exactly. So
That's where we met.
Yeah, that's where we met, and then she came to my event, and now we're friends.
From Halloween to here.
Exactly. Interesting.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Interesting.
So this is just chit chat between assistants, and one of the things that we've been discussing has been the issue of assistants who apparently we have an expiry date.
So they say.
So they say that we expire at 40.
That's what they say.
Apparently. So what do you think about this? So first, tell us about yourself.
Good place to start.
Yeah, tell us about yourself.
I won't be 40 next year, so if you really want to know. Yeah, what can I say? Maybe something that came to my mind yesterday can help sort of frame the topics that we're going to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
It's the word assistant. I think assistant is a very powerful word and a very heavy word in the good sense. And it's something that represents also my path. I identify it with the path I've had because I've had a lot of titles. And I am from South America. I'm Latin American, from Colombia and Venezuela. I have Spanish nationality. I've lived all over the world. As a UN daughter, and I've been to international schools. So I'm like my father puts it, a citizen of the world.
Third culture children.
I like citizen of the world.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
That's perfect.
Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But yeah, third culture, fourth culture, I don't know what culture, but my own culture. My own culture, and that's something that's very important. I share that because when we develop our careers, you have to develop as well an identity with which you work with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And when you're an international person, you can get lost in that identity.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been working for the past nearly 13 years in different UN organizations
Mm-hmm.
as different types of assistant.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
I am mentioning, I'm going to focus, let's say, in that time, but I did my degree in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I did a master's degree in competency assessments, so all those tests that you do
Yeah.
for work,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to
Yeah, the
see
ones
your
you create these
performance,
people
your
who-
abilities. What are your abilities?
and I never fit
What
into
are-
any of those things. The
What-
result always comes to something that I do not identify
You
with.
have. Well, that's interesting, that phrase, because then, you know, that has evolved in time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's something that has helped me. I started my career in headhunters,
Mm-hmm.
doing recruitment for many years. And then when I entered the assistant world in the UN, um, this master's degree helped me in this international life and who am I and what type of assistant I am and all of these things. And yeah, and for the past 7.5 years, I've been at the World Health Organization. I could mention I was in Human Rights Office. I was in UNEP, which are the environment programs of the UN office. And I was at the Palais in the HR department.
Okay.
In the UNOG. So those were sort of the main.
So you've really done.
I've been around.
Yeah, exactly. In a good way.
In a good way. In a good way.
In a
good way, because when you sit in one position for 30 years,
yeah,
like a lot of UN people do, and a lot of people in other industries, you don't learn from other experiences.
Yes.
Right? Everything has its good and its challenging, let's put it right, not to say bad. And these are all different organizations, very different organizations.
True.
People think the UN is one organization.
Oh yeah.
So
and they operate differently.
And operates extremely differently. There are a few things that are similar.
Yeah.
And that's why people think that it's one organization, but it works very differently, everyone. And assistants mean something very different. There are, I don't know how many types of assistants. It's so varied that you can't say, what does an assistant do in the UN?
You can't. That's true.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. There are many types, and it's another world.
Yeah.
The UN is one world, and outside the UN is the other world.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. But even within the UN, I think even the different assistants, because I have friends, I've never worked officially as an admin in the UN. I did work as a receptionist at UNICEF for 1.5 years.
Okay.
And during that time, I was able to mix with the other assistants. And what I noticed, so now when I left there and then I went to Global Fund, and when I was at Global Fund, of course, I'm meeting assistants who worked at other organizations.
Exactly.
And their experience from the other organizations and my experience of what I saw at UNICEF was so different.
Yeah.
And then that's when I learned about the G system, the
G2,
G7,
general
G7,
service,
you know. So I was like, okay, so with different steps, different responsibilities.
Exactly.
And so for me, that was something that was interesting, which I don't think many people think about.
No, that's what I was getting at when I say that there's different types of assistants.
Yeah.
And what's even more, to make even more complicated, is that in the UN you have general staff, G staff, and P professional staff, and then D directors. There are levels in G staff that are the same as P.
Yes.
That is hard to understand.
Yes.
But that just shows, and that I like to take as an example with everything we're mentioning today, because the word assistant, um, I think, came from the times when there was only secretaries
Mm-hmm.
and then technical professional staff.
Okay.
Um, and people still connect
Yes.
an assistant with a secretary.
Yes.
Assistants have evolved and have grown into a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it's important to identify, to not rely on one type of assistant. That's why the example of the UN, this G1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the steps and everything, really is a good example, because that just shows that you're really tailoring your profile to one position, and every assistant is different.
Mm-hmm. So one day I feel like I need to do a podcast with somebody who can explain the different types of assistants, no, just the names already.
Yeah.
Because I did do an interview which is currently online, and I'm going to link it in the bio, where somebody wrote an article, and in this article she said that the term assistant should be retired because it makes people look at somebody in a different way.
Exactly.
And she said she's been an executive assistant who's been given the title of administrative coordinator, and all of a sudden people respect her more just from the change of title.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a debate that can continue because
Yeah,
it
but
feels
that's
like
where I was getting
exactly,
at. That's where I was getting at, where the UN, by developing the different steps and the different levels of general service staff, is already dismantling the word assistant. Because when you say to somebody in the UN, I'm G5, step 7, you sort of identify sort of the levels of experience that the person might have, just with the number.
Yeah.
So that already helps. You see, if you didn't have that system, then you wouldn't know what type of assistant the person is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I get with that is that a G7 is a very high level assistant, usually an assistant of the High Commissioner for Human Rights.
Yeah.
For example, Director General of the UN is a G7. That's the highest.
Yeah.
And that level already tells you, okay, this is this type of assistant. So these numbers help the word not stay at that, that you're
Overall
just
umbrella,
like this
yes.
low class,
Yeah.
or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Okay, let's get
So
back
that's
to
that.
our ageism topic.
So let's get back to our topics. So that I can share about you. My professional life has been, HR, admin, procurement, all these areas of work. But for me, that's something that's been very important. Is speaking from titles, is that the title doesn't define you.
Yes.
The title doesn't define you, and that's what's allowed me to sort of navigate different areas of work.
Okay, so the thing is, quite a number of people right now in Geneva are losing their jobs, and the biggest worry is for people who are over 50. Apparently, it starts as low as over 45, but anyway.
Yeah.
So people are worried because they feel like they will never get jobs. And they feel like they will never get jobs because there's this conversation around that companies do not hire people who are a certain age. Now, I feel like there are values that we older people have that it might be cheaper for the company, but it's more value taking us than taking somebody who, quote unquote, is low cost.
Very true.
So, what do you feel about
Yeah.
the ageism conversation
Yeah.
of how this? And for me, I think the worst part about it is women are even more affected than men in this. But
Yeah.
that's a whole other
But the
conversation.
reason, I think, the reason, taking it from there,
Yeah.
the reason why the world we live in shows that women are more affected is because there's more women assistants.
Yes. Yes.
So it really goes through there,
Yes.
not
Yes.
not the fact that it's man woman. It's just because it
Yeah, it's
happens
just
to be
because
women.
exactly that's why I'm
Yeah,
saying that's the reason why for me it even annoys me more
yeah,
because it's assistants and I
exactly,
know that more assistants are women than men.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. But let's, if to talk about that topic, if we take an assistant that's, just graduated and her first job is an assistant, administrative assistant for whatever,
Mhm.
and you take one of us,
Mhm.
uh, and we're both assistants. Um, the world of the different types of assistant is supporting a person or a team, right, on a various things. Roughly to say, the area of work for an assistant has to be someone with age.
Yes.
Why do I say that? Very simple things are because somebody with experience. Now, when I say experience does not only mean I have 30 years of employment or I have 20 years of employment. It's life experience.
Exactly.
And life experience brings, everything lies in life experience and work experience. That's what you mean when you're to be a good quality assistant. You need to have lived a lot.
True.
That doesn't mean that a 25-year-old can be a very mature assistant.
Yeah.
But it's somebody that's going to be good at what they do, but can a person with more age and more experiences, life or work, can apply more various strategic answers, has, speaking of abilities, speaking of competencies, you develop more abilities, you develop more competencies the older you get. So when I think when in the market they say, oh, they want to hire somebody younger, that also depends the type of title and the type of industry and the type. You don't. A young assistant may be working for a restaurant or something. They might want somebody young. But for organizations like ours, whether it be private NGO or the United Nations, you want somebody with life experiences, because we live in a very international world where cultures, language, technical work you need to have that very well developed.
So the main excuse that I've been told by the few recruiters that I asked what the age issue was, they told me that
What do you say?
older assistants are less adaptable to change. And I was like, how do you know this based on somebody's age? Because I most of the people I know they adapt to change. And when you think about it, an older assistant has probably had more to adapt to than a younger assistant. I mean, we were talking about the fact that moved from typewriters to computers, huge, big, chunky computers, from those huge, chunky computers to laptops, to hybrid working. And yet you say this person is not adaptable as opposed to somebody whose only experience has been the hybrid working. So
Exactly.
while it's great to get
Yeah.
the younger generation
Yeah.
into the job market, I have nothing against the younger generation. I want them into the job market. I want them really there. But I feel like companies refusing to hire older assistants with the excuse that they cost more because their pension is more and all that. To me, I feel like that's a cop off. They don't.
And that's relative.
Yeah.
And that's very relative. These are small things that when you just mentioned that the word change, that's vital.
Yeah.
You can take someone like me and someone in the same organization, in the same team,
Yeah.
because it's typical UN that you sit in the same position for 30 years. And that person that they are abolishing right now,
Yeah.
just like me, is going to have harder time dealing with change because they've been sitting on the same position. So that's relative. That has to do a lot more with the life the person has had.
Yeah.
And not with age and not with titles. And if you don't look into, which is why it's more valuable, someone's values and principles and life experiences.
Yeah.
If you don't look into that, you won't know if the person has adaptable to change or not.
Which is why interviews.
Which is why it's very important to know about not just somebody's CV.
Yes.
Because that's what's going to show you if the person is adaptable to change. But somebody from HR telling you that is a very generic comment.
It was a very annoying comment.
And yeah,
I know it was honest because
that's what
true.
They're told
exactly
to do.
It's actually quite true that people over 50 are finding it really hard to get jobs, and but the reasoning is what's annoying me, because
yes,
all the people that I know, well, most of the people that I know who are in that age bracket, they are hardworking, they're adaptable, they have embraced AI, and there are soft skills that you cannot teach.
Yeah, you just mentioned the right word.
Yeah.
And to go even better, it's what's called transferable skills.
Yes.
Transferable skills, again, have to do with the life you have had, the work life you have had, the education you have had, all of these things. People at 50 find it harder because that's where we came from in other generations.
Yes.
But these things are changing, and we live since the year 2000, let's take it, or 2010, such a changing world.
Way too fast.
That anybody from 50, from 2010 is adaptable to change.
Yes. By the way, it's actually true, because when you think about
you have to.
Anybody who was already working in 2000 or 2010, even if we say that, anybody who was working already in 2010 has had to change so much in the last 15 years that there's no way you can tell them that. Oh, they're
so HRs, and I'm an HR person as well, has to change the way things have been seen, and they're still using words from the past.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
And I feel like these words are just lazy.
Because these are changing.
Yes, because you cannot, but then again, I think in Geneva, the HR culture is different from, I think, places which are unionized, like France.
International.
You would
in general.
not, you would not, there are things that you would not say in unionized countries. Here, our unions are, for example, the Swiss unions are not very strong. I wish
which shows that culture plays a big role.
It does. It does.
In hiring in general.
So now I'm wondering, maybe in Geneva, which is quote unquote international.
Quote unquote.
Exactly. If we actually even have it better than places in Switzerland that are not multicultural.
That's a good thing to look into. That's a good topic.
Exactly.
That's a very good topic.
I wonder how it is in those places which are not quite so international, because
Yeah.
I do find it that HRs in Switzerland, it's very pro the company,
Okay.
um, as compared to, for example, France. And this I get from
Okay.
people who are French, who've worked in France,
Yeah.
and then they come here and then they're shocked.
Yeah. Yes.
And people who are from Scandinavia and
Oh,
Finnish
yes.
people, when they come here, they're like,
Yes.
why is HR working for the company, not
Yeah.
for me? They find
Yes.
it so
Yes.
it's a different culture.
Because culture plays a big role in how
Yes.
you define what are the important things that you look for in a person when you hire somebody.
Mm,
Experience is important, but there are cultures where if you don't have X, Y, and Z in your CV, regardless of your life
Yeah.
experiences, you
Yeah.
won't get hired.
yeah.
So, but these things are changing drastically. When I entered the recruitment world
Mm,
in the year 2003, so over 20 years ago,
yeah.
today it's completely different.
Oh yeah, totally.
So that just shows that even in Switzerland, let's see how they did things 20 years ago.
No, I mean I can say already 15 years
Already
ago
we're
it was quite
defining
different.
things differently.
Yeah, already 15 years ago it was quite different.
We're quite different.
Yeah.
So all this goes to show that when you're talking about an assistant, you have to refrain from saying that it covers everybody.
True. Yeah.
And even all women that are 50 that are assistants, they're all different.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a very sensitive topic because we live in a year and right now where AI, I mean, it's like when computers were invented.
Mm,
We're living such a change that big
yeah.
that's going to change a lot of things.
Oh, it already has.
Age is not probably going to be a factor anymore because you want somebody that has this and that.
Mm,
What age they are,
yeah. Yeah.
I'm just
No. It's
inventing
true.
in one way, but
Yeah.
I don't think so in another. You
No,
know,
I
because
think. Well, I
before
hope
when you
so.
hired a woman, uh, things were so different.
Mm-hmm.
And a 40-year-old 30 years ago, 20 years ago, was a very old person.
Yeah. Oh God.
Right now, 50 is the new 30. Okay? So I feel better now.
I do not want to be 30, so it's fine.
Not joking.
I'm living it. My 30s
The new
were not
40s.
awesome.
50s are the new 40s.
Yes.
So you see, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is true that things are changing, and of course, because even the retirement age. Well,
Exactly.
I'm happy that the retirement age is 65 and I can finally go. But the fact that it's mandatory, there are countries where it's flexible.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Yeah.
And like here, where they say, okay, fine, 65, you turned 65 yesterday, today, goodbye. It's just one of those things that somebody has probably not. You still
That's a
have
good example.
30 years of your life to live, because life expectancy is higher now.
But that just shows that they're gonna have to put it at 70 or something.
Yeah, but I don't want it. Well, I don't want
But that
any
depends-
mandatory. Exactly. They
That
need to
depends
put
where
it.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so to wrap up, we have had a great conversation about ageism, and turns out that it's not the age that they should be looking at. So, if you're in HR and you're watching this, it's not the age that matters; it's the experience. And I think it's quite presumptive to look at somebody's graduation date. And what if they were genius and they graduated at 9?
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, it just goes to show also that maybe also a 25-year-old could be better for some job because they are genius at certain things.
Exactly.
So it's not it just what you just said. Age is you have to look at people's skills
and competencies
and
and what you're willing to also invest in this person
and everything else. But
Yeah, exactly. We all have, all companies have all this online training, the Coursera's and everything.
Yeah, yeah,
So even if you feel like, okay, fine, this could be polished, well, yeah, that's why you have those things.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's one of those good
And the type
things.
of industries you come from. I'm doing a huge transition right now because when you work for the United Nations, you're in a bubble. I have no idea how the private sector and the anything but UN sector um, is like.
Yeah.
So, what do I mean by that? Is that it's very rich for an organization to have people from those both sides coming and going.
Yeah. Yeah.
That enriches both sides.
Mhm.
You see?
Yes.
So if you have everyone coming from one sector for one sector, you don't develop
Yeah.
the type of assistance professionals you have. So on that note,
Yeah. On that note.
we can talk for hours.
Exactly. All right. Well, we will not talk for hours because this is a 1 hour podcast. And yeah, so we just have to stop there. All right, people. So I'll see you in the next one. So this is the Silent Backbone podcast, and I'm Marcy. And
Maria Briceño.
okay,
Thank
so
you for having me.
you are welcome. I've always had this nightmare
Yes.
where